Hello, Pisces. Happy New Year. Welcome to your January 2019. I hope what you've experienced so far has been wonderful, but I know it is. So let's see what is going on for you as well as your thoughts, Pisces. Sure, it's going to be interesting. I'm confident of it. This came out in the collective reading. This is a crystal you should get. I don't even know how to say it right. Don't you judge me. I'm from the world. It's lapis lazuli or something of the sort. It's just a little lanyard for there. But anyway, I hope things are going swell for you guys. I hope you're in good energies. I'm sure you shall be. I think we all are. A friend of mine hit me up and said, I'm so drained. She's like, I was so excited about the new year, but she's like, now I'm just so drained. I don't even feel like doing anything. But she was like, underneath it all, she's like, I feel like I'm drained, but I'm ready. And she's like, somehow I just know when I wake up tomorrow that I'm going to be ready. I was like, you're absolutely right. That is how you guys shall wake up, is ready. And I love when Spirit does this, making me be a contortionist and reach down for things. Let go of control issues, allow the situation to unfold naturally, and forgiving and learning as you release and heal the past. You experience more love in your present moments. I'm going to keep this as an overall energy. It's how I'm seeing this, Pisces, just because I hadn't set my intention yet to pull for you or your cross watcher. I feel like this is going to be the connection that's made this month in reference to your love life, and it could be for you as well as your cross watcher. And the fact that the desire to maintain control is rooted in that need to forgive and thus learn from past experiences. There's some fear that you're running from, and this may not even be conscious. It could be something like you grew up and watched your mother, who was, I don't know, an award-winning engineer, give up on her dreams to support your dad's dreams that never came to pass. And now she's an older woman, and she tells you never to give up on your dreams because every day she wonders what could have been. That was an analogy that I just came up with, and I was like, geez, that's really deep. So it's the thing of trying to maintain control in relationships because it's trying to prevent your biggest fear from coming to pass. So it could be something as simple as, I don't ever want to be like my mom. I don't ever want to be like my dad. I don't ever want to be parents like them. Or, this thing that happened to this person, I don't ever want that to befall upon me. I don't ever want to be broke. But if there's anything that we could garner from Shakespeare, the story Oedipus Rex, to be specific, is that when we try to outwit fate, we make things far worse than if we allowed and relinquish control. Now, forgiveness is another form of relinquishing control, in the fact that when we have unforgiveness in our heart towards someone else, we are trying to either physically or energetically hold them accountable. We're sitting and watching, peeping through the window, waiting for them to get their comeuppance, waiting for them to get their karma. When are they going to get back to them what they've done to me? And that keeps you in a stagnant state. It takes you out of flow, right? And I don't know why all these scriptures keep coming up today, but that's the reason why when you laugh at your enemies, It's like God will remove their hand from them to where they end up not getting their karma. And it's because things are thrown off balance because your energy being fixated on them, right? What we focus on is where we produce from. So if you're focused on them getting their comeuppance, celebrating when they get their comeuppance, it's like you become that which you judge. You feel me? The reason why forgiveness is for you is because it's surrendering to the laws of karma and not putting yourself in the impossible position of being judge, jury, and executioner. You allow the laws of the universe that were created to serve you and to work in your favor to do their job, right? What goes around always comes around because it has to, whether you see it or you don't. That's where that trust and knowing, and why I've been suggesting that you guys study the laws of the universe, the 12 laws of the universe, as well as the 12 laws of physics, as well as the 14 laws of karma. Because these become the framework within which you live. It gives you the whys behind all of the happenings in your life. Like, the law of cause and effect. Every single thing that you do has a consequence, whether for good or for bad. Attuning to a state where we understand that what is good or bad is simply relative, and knowing that you have the power to determine it so. But it's honoring the laws of the universe as well. When you free yourself up from being judge, jury, and executioner, or waiting for someone's karma to come, or even being the person who's trying to give a person their karma, when you release that, you free yourself, and then you can learn. But it isn't until you release to be able to take a step back to have that objective view, can you release it and then gain control over not the situation or other people are trying to prevent things from happening, but over yourself. Now, before I pull these cards for you and your cross watcher, what I mean with this overall energy, I referred to Shakespeare. In the story of Oedipus Rex, a seer or a prophet came into a kingdom. They came to a king and queen who just had a baby boy. He came into the court and told the king and queen that your son will grow up and he will kill his father and marry his mother. The thought of that is mortifying for any parent, I'm sure. But they were so appalled by this that they decided to murder the baby. So they have their servant to take the baby into the woods, and they say to kill him. The servant takes the baby into the woods, but just cannot find the heart or the gall in him to take the innocent child's life. So he decides to just simply abandon it, right? The little boy is found in the woods by a man, and he's taken back to his town. The little boy is raised, has a nice life, grows up, becomes king of the town he was raised in. And of course, battles and wars and things, and he's taking over neighboring kingdoms because he's like, Mr. Badass King Oedipus, And there's one kingdom left to overtake, and they invade the kingdom. They kill everyone. The only person that he spares is the queen, and he's enthralled by her. It's a magnetic connection that they have. It's unexplainable. He marries her, right? Soon enough, a seer or a prophet comes into town, comes into the court. He asks to speak to them and says, Oedipus, for you have killed your father and married your mother. The kingdom that he overtook was his original kingdom. He had no idea what he was doing. He had no idea that he was adopted. He did not know that the king and queen of the neighboring town were his parents. But because his parents tried to control out of fear, and this is the key, trying to control a situation out of fear, it became a self-fulfilling prophecy and the fact, right, of trying to avoid a truth that was spoken by someone outside of the self, right? Trying to avoid a truth that was spoken by someone else. Internalizing beliefs. And this was a card that came up in the collective reading. It was saying how it's time to change your mind because there's thoughts, other people's thoughts, that are clouding your mind that need to be released, right? So internalizing another person's truth incites fear. It doesn't resonate with you, right? When something provokes fear in you, that's a low vibrational, oppressive vibration, right? If something resonates with you and it makes you feel uplifted, right? Even if it provokes sadness, but the following emotion is feeling uplifted, it's high vibration. But it incited fear. So every decision and choice they made from that point was from the wrong well. It was from the well of fear, right? If they would have stood in their power and said, well, if that's our fate, let it be so, it would have never come to pass. So it's when we operate out of fear that we self-sabotage. It's when we operate out of fear that we end up manifesting the things that we don't want into our lives, right? That's how we breathe life into dark forces, so to speak. But for you as well as for your cross-watcher. So if you're cross-watching this video, you just got some fresh manna from the sky. Congratulations. Being nosy is so beneficial. It is. I kid you not. That's why I do cross-watcher readings. I know my nosiness helps. Diagnose something. But that's why that's so important. Because the key is now is manifesting from a higher vibrational place, especially in reference to your love life. Feel me? So, okay. I was going to say first card, Pisces, second card for your cross-watcher, spirit, just kind of stuff. Falling out in things. So, this is interesting. We got us a triune message. New love, engagement, and reconciliation. I don't know if this is going to be for 3 different groups of people or if it's that the time that you have spent away from your partner has allowed your love to be transformed. It will present as new and will ascend to a higher level of commitment with an engagement. It's beautiful nonetheless. That's very, very beautiful. Now the next is for your cross-watcher. They're going to get 3. Can I get a card for Pisces cross-watcher, please, Spirit? We just got a revelation from being nosy. All right. This could be the one, cross-watcher. You've already met the romantic partner that you seek. You know who they are. You felt it in your bones. You felt it deep within you. This is them. Go to them, cross-watcher. Go to them. Tell them that She-Do sent you. And if they're not a subscriber, tell them to subscribe. I think that would be so gangster if, I would be like the ultimate, like, twin unioner. If, like, y'all and y'all twins will subscribe to me. Oh, that's why I said I'm going to start a dating service. Kid you not. Twins are us. Find your life partner here, where a twin can be a twin. I'm corny, leave me alone. That was like my first joke of 2019. Alright, Spirit, clear and direct guidance for my Pisceans for January. Consider love lives, please. Spirit, please give me insight into what is going on with Pisces as well as their cross watcher. Give us insights into this reconciliation, this engagement, this new love, and this could be the one, and things, and it's not or whatever. I have a lot of weddings to go to this year. A lot of baby shower gifts. Y'all gonna break me. You guys can always expect an invite to a wedding from me, but you will never be invited to a baby shower. I'm letting you know. Done deal. Done. Maybe for a new puppy. Anywho, first card for Pisces. We have the Six of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Wands. Sesame. And then we have the Pentacles. Interesting. So, for a great deal of you, I do honestly believe that this is a person that is from your past. But the difference is it's going to be a passionate new beginning with someone from your past. And here's the thing. Don't be freaked out if you have an ex and you're like, oh, hell no. Right? Because if this is someone from your past that comes back, they're going to be noticeably different. It won't be anything that you're going to have to be like, you might also want to watch the collective reading, because I said something along the lines of closing your eyes and relating to this person in an energetic sense and to keep an open mind in reference to them. But it's being able to discern the essence of this person because their vibration will be different. It's a lot like another example I used in another reading, can't remember whose, where I talked about butterflies and caterpillars having two different DNA structures. Even though it's in essence, in thought, it's the same person, but they're completely reborn to where their DNA structure is different. So this is what this person would be showing up like. They would be different. They would be balanced. If you were to close your eyes, to not fixate on the external looks of them, and you tune into your heart space, you could sense it. You could sense something with them is inherently different. They are not the same. For others of you, it's seeing people from your past or even in your present in a different light. You having a passionate new beginning within the self, reconciling with the self, having a renewed love with yourself, ascending to a higher state of commitment with the self because of you releasing control and allowing yourself to heal or releasing yourself from bondage via forgiveness, right? And it's you who's showing up balanced. It's you who's grounded in your truth. It's you who's self-nurturing and looking back to your past in those situations that may not have worked out, those situations that you left behind, the people that you left in 2018. It's looking back at that and in hindsight it making perfect sense. You know what I mean? It's putting all of your experiences into perspective. And it's not feeling any regret or, the one that got away, nothing of the sort. It's knowing that there were experiences that you needed to be seated in the power that you're now seated in. But there's babies going on here, I could tell you that. And for some of y'all, I'm just gonna let you know, it may be a reconciliation. If it happened tonight, that's wonderful. Congratulations. But it's a divine child, though. This child needed to be born, because it's a divine calling on that child's life. So this child needs to be born. So for some of you, it's a reconciliation for that purpose. You know what I mean? It's the fact that 50-50 of each of your DNAs needed to come together to create the idyllic framework for this soul to come forth to fulfill its mission, right? And then in the most simplistic way, for others of you who resonate with either one of those scenarios, it's you doing your personal work and calling in a new opportunity for you to experience true love. You know what I mean? It's you meeting a person who lights your fire, you know? It's cultivating a relationship that's an equal give and take. And it's a person who honors you and sees you for the beauty of who you are, who honors and respects your personal work, respects your boundaries, right? And this is a situation where, although it's going to go slow, but it's going to be a nice, easy slow. But the intensity of the emotions are going to be ever present and spoken to and acknowledged. It's not going to be anything that's hidden, right? But we got babies going on. Not saying with a new person you have babies, but I'm saying for the rest of y'all, it's babies. What is all this babies? Your water signs with your baby making Scorpio, Pisces, and all that. Making babies. You know, y'all can do that. Now I'll watch your baby because they can go home. You know? You ain't got no juice and things like that here. I don't even remember how to make formula. Try to burn that out of my memory. Onto your cross watcher. This could be the one. First card, we have the 5 of Pentacles. We have the 10 of Wands. Man, cross watcher taking their power back. They ain't got no time. Yes. And we got the 3 of Cups. Cross watcher don't have no time. Now, everything I described I like this cross watcher for Pisces. Everything that I described for Pisces about releasing, that is exactly what the cross watcher did. So this is one of those wonderful reflection things. So soulmate, twin flamey kind of stuff. I don't know why all the twins just coming out and they're like, hey, we about to show up in your read. So yeah, I don't know what's popping with that. But yeah, so your cross watcher person is a kindred spirit in the sense that they know what it's like to take on too much. They know what it's like to take the entire world upon their shoulders. But they made the decision to say no more. So going into 2019, they took their power back and said that they were no longer going to stay in situations that were not serving their highest good, that were full of inequality, that left them feeling not honored, that left them feeling like an option. You know what I mean? And as difficult as it was for them to do that, they knew that they were worth it. And I'm seeing this alignment that's so beautiful to me. Because Pisces has the ace. They had 10 wands on their back, but they dropped 9. So they let go of their little shell shockedness, you know, their hypervigilance, their fear of what happened to them in the past. And they're holding on to the possibilities of passionate new beginnings. So energetically, even though this person doesn't know that they're clinging to you, they are. So the person that you guys are going to be aligning with this month, they're already in your auric field, and you may feel them. You may sense them. Or you, like me, just be hearing this zodiac sign randomly, like, well, what do you want? This person in my auric field be sending me songs and things, and I'm like, what? You one of those little tenderoni sending me lyrics, songs, and stuff? I'm like, bruh. So I have a whole list of which I'm going to read from. And be like, you remember this little telepathic message right here? So That's how you feel? Oh, okay, that's cute. That's real cute. Your water sign? Just kidding. But they're already holding on to you and they don't even know it. Because I see this in the sense of, this is that true magnetic attraction. This is the like attracts like. It's this being a symbol of the specific Pisces I'm talking to, like each of you individually. This is your specific frequency. This person clung to that specific frequency. So it's kind of like that thing that when I was in therapy years ago that my therapist told me, and I was like, whatever. And she said, Princess Cynthia, somewhere out there in the world, there's a man on his knees right now praying for you. Not someone sort of kind of like you, similar to you, who's literally on his knees right now asking God for someone just like you. And I was like, whatever. Don't nobody love me. I'm not worth love. You know? In my worthless days. But anyway, we've all been there. But this is exactly what I see in that. It's a person who was asking for something that they can't even audibly say. It's just something they sense in their spirit, and that thing that they're sensing is your essence. So they're clinging to you. It's the hope of you that gave them the strength to walk away from something that was very tangible in 3D, right? But that they knew wasn't serving them. And they knew just sitting there wasn't going to get them what they wanted. But it was the hope of you that gave them the strength to press forward with the little bit of strength that they had left. And the thing that I see is, it's like this whole little interconnection thing, because as Pisces is sitting in their power and is drawing material things to them that are reflections of this power that you're sitting in, you're also drawing them in. So it starts as energetic and you're drawing them in matter, right? Then the beautiful thing about this, Three of Cups, is that when you guys come together, and this, of course, you know, the whole party that they're having is that they're at, like, you know, a wedding feast, you know? So the beautiful thing about this happening is that in two senses, for those of you guys just meeting this person, it's going to be a time of great joy for you to see in your real life the things that you've heard about, or how exactly this works, but it actually happening for you, right? Of you seeing what it looks like when you call something in, when you manifest something, when you see that miraculous moment where, you know, a person you thought it was over with comes back different. And I say that's for less of you and more in an extended period of time, because, you know, change, of course, takes time. We're not talking about somebody you broke up with 2 weeks ago and them coming back as a totally different person, as much as I wish we could fast track it that way. But it's seeing something that you had lost hope in manifesting for you. And it's a sense of disbelief that I feel that you guys are, I sense that you guys are going to feel with this. But it all starts with this. You know what I mean? It's the definition of surrendering to flow. Getting out of your own way, in so many words. You know what I mean? Not being the block in your own life, and opening up to the things that you desire, manifesting. It's no longer operating from a spirit of fear, right? And then for those of you who are already in a partnership, I'm seeing this is more or less a transmutation between the two of you. But, and I'm seeing this interestingly. It's very interesting. It's almost as if This is more like for the cross watcher. Like if there's a cross watcher that's dealing with a Pisces, and a Pisces that they felt had wronged them or harmed them in some way. It's just as, and this is reminding me, who's reading was that Scorpio? Wow, Scorpio and Pisces together, that would be an interesting relationship. That would be a very interesting I gotta meet y'all in real life. Anyway, but in the Scorpio reading, it's kind of the energy I'm sensing here is where it was this couple that was having financial troubles, and like right at the brink of you guys being about to give up, something comes in that completely shifts the situation you guys were in. But there needing to be a renewal of the vow by remembering the love and connection that you have for this person, and it's not being something that should be given up on, because specifically the root of the issue was finances that caused contention in the relationship, whether that was one of the whether it was a bad investment of, savings or retirement, or it was, layoff, loss of a job. The main point of contention in the relationship was finances, so much so that there was a breakdown and there was a considering of going separate ways. But where this comes in is this is definitely somebody who's connected to a Scorpio, and whether, Scorpio is in their chart, sun, moon, rising, or Venus. So you may want to go watch that Scorpio video. But that letting go of control issues and that forgiveness and learning is imperative for this married couple or committed couple, whatever the circumstances are. Because there's one partner who's in a Four of Pentacles energy that's holding on to finances, or, kind of checking, credit card balances, and what are you spending on what, why did you spend money on this, and things of the sort. So it's them stepping into control issues, because it's that Nine of Wands energy of this fear of you guys ever being in this situation again. So I think it was like one partner was kind of leaving the finances to one person, and the other person may not have been so good with it. So now it's kind of like taking control out of a fear of ever ending up in that situation again. But there needs to be a forgiveness, as in a releasing of the past wrongs, right? And there needs to be a learning experience from it, right? Which puts us back into a position of power, because everything is always unfolding for our favor, right? So there's a lesson in everything. So it's learning of where it is that we went wrong, but then needing to heal the partnership, because the partnership in this specific instance shouldn't be broken, because it was, the foundation of it was on the right things. The two of you are there for the right reasons. It's just that you fell into a rough patch that wasn't related to, abuse or toxicity. It was just financial issues. And I shared with Scorpio that in reality, in real life, every day, that's the leading cause of divorce in our country, is financial issues, because that's messing with root chakra stuff. That's a person's security. You know what I mean? And your stability. And when you feel as if your survival is at stake. And we have a tendency to blame, and that happens a lot of times in couples, is when you find yourself in situations, whether it's the loss of, a child, or it's, a child being injured. It's sometimes just out of the grief and the chaos of the situation, there's a tendency to blame each other. If you wouldn't have, or I shouldn't have listened to you. And that breaks that intimacy. And at that moment, the two of you stop believing that you have each other's best interest at heart. But Spirit's message to you guys is that this is something that can be healed. You know what I mean? Because again, it's a matter of perception. And at the heart of this situation, the two of you truly love each other. And that's undeniable, I believe, for everyone that knows the two of you. And I think even the entertaining of the idea that the two of you were considering going your separate ways probably devastated people in your life. And I don't know if there's some of you who even went as far as getting a divorce already. But y'all gonna get remarried. It's possible. It's happened in my office before. I was shocked. I don't know what. But it's possible, you know? But like I said, that's a very small, probably one couple I could potentially be talking to. But the thing is that the change in this person, you will know that you know that you know. There will never be a doubt. I think they changed. Maybe I need some time. You closed your eyes and tuned in, you would know that you know that you know. So I'm going to throw out the dice of resonance. If you're not familiar, it's a little art project I have that has all 12 zodiac signs, clarifying die for the roles that they can play in your life, whether the sun is rising, and you have the ability to ask a yes or no question. So if you would like to do that, pause me, think of your question. And the answers that